Steve and Happer hit the rocks. Campus lovebirds extended Steve to line of work, a statement she often said to him in their trivial WhatsApp conversations. She was just like those other friends who always despise your game, even when they haven't seen you play. However, reminiscences that this all started about a month or so after the night they kissed. Recall that night when they kissed, and Yumim flipped the switch and nothing happened according to Steve. It's upon that background that Steve and Usher shared the spoils 2 years before he got married, even when he was with Happer at the time. During my visit to her residence in Busega, Usher revealed that it was only twice back when they were still neighbors. Well, Happer finally found out about them. Luckily, or unluckily, it was 2 years into their marriage when she once again betrayed his trust, looking through his phone. It's an internal fight that hit them pretty hard. For 6 months, Steve and Happer were literally internally divorced, with him spending the cold nights on the couch and sometimes over at his friend's place, Alex. Steve intimates to me that he spent all those nights on the couch just to keep up appearances for his little son, not forgetting the strong need to patch things with Happer. During that time, he had to bear lots of verbal insult from his wife and all that I don't care attitude. Was your night at Usher's okay? That's one of the questions often posed to him whenever he didn't return home after work and spend the night over at Alex's. But being insulted was the least of his problems. He also suffered a romantic dry spell on top of having to do his own laundry and iron his own clothes, among other things. It wasn't easy, but he pulled through until when she forgave him. Life got back to normal. But guess what? You've probably heard this said before. Marriage isn't a bed of roses. About 2.5 years later, Steve and Happer find themselves at the crossroads again. Over a few glasses of beer, Steve told me that somewhere along the way, the passionate kiss he used to plant on the lips of his wife, Happer, when she walked in the door from work morphed into a peck on the cheek that eventually morphed into, some days, an inability to even look up through the curtains of the living room. With 2 children to look after, a mortgage to pay every month, and a few disputes to settle with family members were driving their marriage crazy. Little by little, Steve's belief started to falter considerably. Besides coming back late, after switching jobs for green pastures, it seemed as though he could never do anything right by his wife. The couple seemed to be at odds all the time over the most routine chores of life. About 2 months into this kind of life, Happer broke it to Steve that she had squandered away a huge chunk of their saving on things he says that only she can explain. This only left him bemused on what to do next. Apparently, it was a Thursday afternoon at around 1 p.m. during his lunch break when he stumbled into a therapist's office, ready to give up everything and walk away. This was after nearly 3.5 weeks of spending cold nights on the couch again, and only accessing his bedroom for a crisp morning or evening shower plus clothes. He and the therapist had a long conversation during which they agreed that Steve brings his wife for a couples therapy session. A week later, Steve managed to convince Happer that they go for marriage counseling despite being at odds with each other. A lot was said during their 2 counseling sessions. We shall, however, not divulge the details of their counseling sessions, but here is part of the therapist's advice to the 2 lovebirds. Every relationship goes through hard times. Many couples learn how to navigate through choppy waters and sail on toward a bright future together. Others, however, hit a rough spot and stay stuck, wondering if they've suffered irreparable damage. For dating couples, this is the time to evaluate if the relationship has run its course and it's best to part ways, or if the relationship has enough potential to do the hard work necessary to overcome difficulties. If you and your partner have encountered problems, no matter how big, choosing to quit isn't the solution for married couples. It shouldn't even be an option. There are a number of things you can do to save your relationship when it hits the rocks. Among these is acknowledging the problem/s at hand, something that Steve was willing to do when he embraced therapy. He had to accept that Happer had wasted their savings, albeit it's not what he would have wanted to hear, especially during such difficult economic times. The 2 looked fully committed towards this recovery road until Joan came back in the mix, and now Steve looks to be giving Happer some sort of divided attention. Hi everyone, this is Robert K. Circles. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast today. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen. I hope you enjoyed this story. If you did, I'd be incredibly grateful if you could take a moment to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. Give us a like on your favorite podcast platform. Leave a comment. letting us know what you thought. We love hearing your feedback, and if you know someone who might enjoy the show, please share it with them. Your support means the world to me and helps us reach more listeners. Thanks again for being a part of the Robert K. Circles community. Until next time, take care.